Kia ora Planet Changers and welcome to Kids Church Online. You'll be able to find us here for at least the next month as we navigate isolation together and figuring out how to do this a little bit differently. Obviously we can't have all the usual games and mystery boxes like we normally have, but tune in because we have a great word for you and eventually we'll have some fun challenges and tips from your leaders that will feature in these videos, but for this week we're just keeping it pretty simple. Today I'll be sharing with you a word called lockdown, and we will look at together 3 very important areas of our lives that we need to lock down together in this new season. Our first point is to lock down your attitude. In life, it's really easy to focus on the negative things or all the bad stuff is happening, especially in a season like this where things feel really uncomfortable and weird and our world is kind of being flipped upside down on its head. When we are focusing on things, that means that we ourselves tend to pick up a bad attitude, and that is not the way that Jesus calls us to live. In 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 16 to 18, he says, "Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in every circumstance, for this is God's will for you." Now let's be honest, have we been thanking God during this lockdown, or have we been focusing on all the things that are going wrong? Like no more school, no sports, maybe you're stuck at home all the time with your brother who really annoys you, maybe mum and dad are asking you to do lots of chores when you just want to play your game. But notice how God doesn't say, rejoice when things are going right. Notice how he doesn't say, give thanks when you're enjoying life. He says to rejoice always, all the time, and to give thanks in every circumstance, including this one. Here's an example for you. Just say our thoughts for plants. These here are my good thoughts. I water them maybe 1 or 2 times a week and sometimes put them out in the sunlight, the things that a plant needs to grow. It's kind of growing healthy, it's got some leaves here. But if we compare that to my negative thoughts, without even putting them next to each other, you can see my negative thoughts are a lot bigger. I water these multiple times a day, it's always in the sunlight, it's got everything it needs to grow. But what if we swapped this around? What if these were my positive thoughts and these were my negative ones? I didn't pay much attention to them, I didn't give them the things they need to grow, but instead I spent my time watering my positive thoughts so that they could flourish and grow, and that is where my focus would be. When I put my effort into growing my positive thoughts, my attitude will follow, and I will live as Jesus has called me to rejoice always, to pray continually, and to give thanks in every circumstance. This week, I challenge you, every time you find yourself thinking something negative, to replace it with 3 positive thoughts. Eventually, you will find you have picked up an attitude of gratitude, and it'll become so much easier for you to give thanks always. Our second point, lock down your priorities. Suddenly, we have so much free time. No school, no friends to go hang out with, nothing to do except to sit at home. Maybe mum's already got you doing jobs, or you have puzzles and games you can play. Maybe you've been outside with your siblings. But be encouraged that how we spend this time really matters to God. In Psalms 90 verse 12, David says, "Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom." When David's asking this of God, he's saying, please God, remind us how short life is so that we don't waste our time. Our time is like a currency, and we need to realize that where we put our time is what we hold value in. I have 2 glasses here. Let's say they represent 2 very important things in my life, God and me. Then I have some coins. Let's pretend that they represent an hour of my time. Now let's see where my value is if I take a look at how I usually spend my day. In the morning, I wake up. I make breakfast. Me. I then play some games on the computer. Me. I get my work done so I can get paid. Me. I have some lunch. And I say grace. God. Then I spend the afternoon watching a movie. I have dinner and I say grace. And then I go to bed and I watch TikToks. As you can see, I put a lot more value in myself than my time with God. Before our time was cut short, we were learning in Kids Church about the 2 most important commandments that God gave us. The first was to love God with all our heart, soul, mind and strength. And the second to love our neighbour as ourselves. Our priority in life should be our relationship with God, and then everything we do should flow out of that. Our love for others, the way that we look after our family, and then the way that we look after ourselves. Sometimes it can feel like we have so much time on our hands, but what a cool opportunity to get to know God more and to grow that relationship with Him. Maybe that looks like a morning devotion when you wake up, or making intentional time to pray and read your Bible when you go to bed. Loving God can also look like helping mum and dad with chores when they haven't even asked you to, cleaning up after yourself, and giving your brother that toy of yours that he's really been wanting to play with. It's about putting God and others first and then ourselves. I encourage you over the next few days to be really intentional with the way you spend your time. Think of each hour as $60. Where do you put that money? What is valuable to you? We have a whole month before us to do with what we want essentially. What a cool opportunity that we've never had before to get to know God and our family more. Our third point is to lock down your faith. As we adjust our attitude and priorities, you will find you have an opportunity to deepen your relationship with God and grow in your faith. There is no better time than when things feel weird, uncomfortable, or maybe even a bit scary to rely on God and to deepen our relationship with Him. In fact, in the Bible it says that His strength is shown best through our weakness. And I just want to encourage you guys that no matter how you're feeling right now, God has your back and that He's in control. In Psalms 121, it says, I lift my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord who made the heaven and the earth. Be encouraged that God has your back and that He is completely trustworthy. You and your family are safe in His hands. Faith is about believing, no matter what things look like, and trusting God in every season. A quick summary, let's say them together. Point 1, lock down your attitude. Point 2, lock down your priorities. And our third point, lock down your faith. Planet changes. Right now we're on a lockdown physically, but it is also an opportunity to get a lockdown on our attitude, our priorities, and our faith. Over the next week, let's practice together being more grateful, giving more of our time to God, and trusting in Him no matter what. Goodbye Kids Church, that's all we have for today. I promise from next week things will be a bit more interesting as we add in mystery box challenges and all that other sort of cool stuff. And it's not just Sundays that you'll find us here either. On Wednesday and Friday mornings at 9:30 you can find a daily devotion with cool features from your leaders and a live stream on Thursday at 4:30 in the afternoon. All the details will be below, so make sure you have a look and you tune in as we have some fun together. Remember, planet changes, you are not alone. If you need anything, feel free to give me a message and I will get in contact with you. Ka kite!